Well, welcome. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Nova Scotia. We've made it down to Peggy's Cove, down here on the Bay of Margaret, or whatever it's called.
St. Margaret.
St. Margaret. So we are coming up into Peggy's Cove right now. There's a lighthouse out there. We're going to go walk around town, see what's out there. It's right on the Atlantic Ocean. We are in this area for a week. Should be good. Lots of driving. We're meeting some friends we met in the Rio Grande Valley for lunch tomorrow. Should be good all around here. Lots of views and scenic drives and maybe some hikes. I'm not sure if there's a whole lot of hikes here, but we'll figure it out when we get going.
You can wander, basically.
Wander.
Yes.
So anyhow, thanks for following along, and hope you stick around for the whole video. We don't even know what it's going to be like yet. So, all right, let's go have some fun.
Let's go.
Fisherman's Memorial. Carved by one person starting in 1977. Carved out of a granite rock that happened to have been in the guy's backyard. Kind of cool. Peggy's Cove is a cool little fisherman town with a harbor and all kinds of shops. There's Angel. We're working our way out to the lighthouse. There's the North Atlantic Ocean. And we're gonna make it all the way to the lighthouse, but we can't go up it because it's an active Canadian Coast Guard owned and operated lighthouse. There are signs everywhere to stay off the black rocks. All the people around here tell us that they lose tourists every year from people out walking on them. They even put it into a metal plaque bolted to the rocks. I guess we better stay off the black rocks.
Not a problem.
Too many tourists get killed every year. So we got the lighthouse behind us. We're going to swing around here to the Atlantic Ocean. You see those dark rocks down there, those black and seaweed covered rocks? We have passed at least 20 signs saying stay off those rocks, that they lose tourists every year who try and venture out onto those slippery rocks. So we're going to observe from up here where it's nice and dry. So we're stopping at Amos Pewter. They sell kits. As you can see, Angel's got one. They also do demos. And I got part of a video of a demo that I'll put just after this. So, this is still out here at Peggy's Cove, and they do everything pewter here, from starfish to lobsters.
Yes.
Our sand dollars to fill in there. 5 of them are all filled in. We got one that's sort of partially filled in there, and that can happen sometimes, but we got 5 of them that are looking pretty good there. We're just gonna pop it off like that. And you can see they got the sand dollar pattern right on the top there. They're not really the best quality. Some of the bottoms are a bit pitted, so not really ideal for actual products, but still pretty good. So if we're gonna finish these up, if they were good enough quality, we just pop them off right like that. And then we have some wheels over there that can sand up the edges and polish and finish like you do in the kits. But, yep, we just pop them off like that. They're pretty easy to just pop off. And then all this other middle stuff and any that didn't get filled in properly, you just give it a little bend. And right back into the pot there, just melts right back down. So we can just reuse all that pewter again, so there's no waste from doing the process.
So cool.
Yeah.
Hey. Well, I'm certainly glad we waited 4 minutes.
We're at the Southwester restaurant out at Peggy's Cove by the lighthouse, and I got me some chowder. Angel got some homemade gingerbread. So the town is really a cool little town. Southwester, all out in the cove. Goes down to a little harbor. So we're down at the wharf of Halifax. Just walking along the wharf, there's all kinds of shops, all kinds of food, etc. But there's a cruise ship that just came in. Kind of interesting. So we're walking around the wharf, and they call it the harbor or the whatever they call it.
Halifax Seaport.
Seaport, that's what it is. Waterfront.
Waterfront, yes.
So anyway, we're walking around, we got ice cream, and saw the cruise ships come in. They're getting ready for the sailboat race. There's a huge sailboat race coming in. I've seen those ocean sailboat races before on TV. They're pretty cool. But that race isn't happening until next weekend. We'll be gone, but oh well. But you know, it's kind of cool to walk around here. Lots of people, lots of things to see. So make sure you get down to the Halifax waterfront. Well, our first seriously rainy day. It's going to be raining all day. It's a good day to go out for a drive to go meet some buddies. We met some people down in the Rio Grande Valley where we winter, Ian and Carol, and they happen to live in Nova Scotia. So they invited us to meet them for lunch. So we're going to go meet them for lunch on a cold, wet, windy, rainy day. What else are you going to do? Get up, sit in the RV and do nothing? Anyhow, we got buddies up here. Meet Carol and Ian McKinnon. They live here in Nova Scotia, but we met them down in the Rio Grande Valley last winter. Good morning. So today, it finally started clearing up after all that rain. We are doing a big giant loop all the way around the west side of Nova Scotia. And the first place that we're stopping is Mahone Bay, famous for 3 churches in the background.
1, 2, 3.
So we're going to go check out those churches, and then we're going to be off the main
GPS
road
signal lost.
and we can move on to the smaller secondary roads as we continue around the loop. So come on along. So there are the 3 churches that we're supposed to be checking out, and it looks like there's a couple others in the background. We'll see when we get over there. So got the scoop on the 3 churches. Back in the 1800s, this was a very, very small settlement, and they all got together and decided to build one meeting hall / church, which was the Anglican, or the Church of England. Then after the population grew a little bit, Protestants built one, and then a little bit after that, the Lutherans said they wanted one right here as well. So that's how we got 3 churches in a row. Okay, we are now in Lunenburg. There's the Fisherman's Museum, and there's several boats around here that you can take tours on. Restaurants, the bay. It's a cool little waterfront here in Lunenburg. We're going to keep walking and keep driving around. Still in Lunenburg, obviously founded by the Germans. This is still a working school. Really kind of cool. We can actually get into the bottom floor. It's a library, and the bottom floor is open to public to walk around. Heritage classroom. This is actually still a working school. This is just a history room. All the classes are being done on the other side of the building. So we decided not to try and make it all the way along around the peninsula. I'm going to zoom out here. Of the west side of Nova Scotia. So we ended up staying in Lunenburg for the day. Just walking along, we had lunch. Just a cool little town. Well, good morning. Today we decided to come back to Halifax and do the Citadel and the, what do they call them, public gardens?
Yes, public gardens.
The Citadel, by the way, is part of the National Park program, so our cards did get us in for free. Otherwise, it's like $9. We parked at the bottom and walked up the hill. Oh boy! But you can drive up here and pay your fee and get in and park here for free if there's enough room. It's a small parking lot. But we're going to spend the day walking through the Citadel and the public gardens.
Let's go. Okay.
All right, so to enter the Citadel, which is stone walls everywhere, there's a big giant star-shaped moat around it. Here is the entrance. You can see angels already up there. So we just went from the outside moat to the inside of the Citadel. So every day at noon they fire off a gun, and you just saw the crew. And we need to get up these stairs before they close it.
The Artillery Royale, so the 3rd Brigade of the Royal Artillery. I mentioned earlier, I will be using ear protection because I hear this every day. I hear guns going off 4 times a day. And I hear people yelling a lot. So I do need ear protection. You will be fine for 1 day, so don't worry about your ears too much. It is very loud though, so do feel free to plug your ears. So the plan to elevate is to take the point block, that block there, out from underneath the gun. That's what's pointing it downwards. They'll bring it out, and then the gun will point level with the firing position. So there, the corporal is clearing the vents, so she's making sure that there's nothing in the way of where they will place the quill that lights the charge. Alors le corporal, elle va nettoyer l'avant. Alors il n'y a pas de choses dans l'avant qui peut obstruer ou faire chose mal à la calamou qui provoquait l'incendie. Now they're searching the gun and clearing the gun. That's making sure that there's nothing inside like rocks or any small pieces of shrapnel that could fire out of the gun when we fire the charge. So that's to be as safe as possible.
Dead easy.
Le dégorgeoir. Alors avec le dégorgeoir, on place une petite charge. Alors elle trouve là que ça va là. Et puis elles peuvent provoquer la charge. So that was the priming iron that was poking a hole inside the charge. That's where they place the quill that they light the fire of in order to light the charge. So that's priming the charge.
Ready! Everyone, fire!
Wow. Woo.
Hey.
You feel it?
Up.
Woo.
Keep firing!
So in the Citadel Museum, hope you can read that. This is a Roman sword discovered by a Canadian military during World War I. But that sword itself is from Rome. Couple more pieces of history in the museum. A Nazi flag, and more disturbing is a Hitler Youth SS flag and weapons. Kind of disturbing. You don't really think about it, but when you have a fort completely surrounded by cannons, you need to have a lot of gunpowder. And this is in the bowels of the fort, protected under all kinds of stone. So as you enter the main entrance of the Citadel, you can see there's actually a drawbridge here over, they call it the ditch. I call it a moat. But here's the actual drawbridge to get into the Citadel. So this Citadel has gone through 5 iterations. Those masts there are for communications. The construction is the cisterns for capturing water. Cistern for capturing water. There's the cannon we saw go off earlier. Yeah, they're rebuilding that. They have enough water for 1,000 soldiers for, I think they said 60 days. Continue to come around. And that's the Citadel. The 5th one since, I think the first one was in 1700.
Yeah, 1700.
Wow, what an interesting day.
Yes.
We got here about, 11 o'clock, maybe a
Yes.
little after 11. It's now 4 o'clock. We have spent all day at the Citadel.
Yes.
So much happening. The cannon fires, the rifle firing, the bagpipe playing.
Yes.
All kinds of things happening, and all the history in different museums. They've got like 3 different museums in here to look at and walk through,
Yes.
movies. We had no idea this was going to be an all-day event. So if you get over here, you might want to plan a whole day at the Citadel in downtown Halifax.
Yes, it was very fun, very informative, and it helps us see how our history is connected in
Yeah.
Canada and the United States, and it's just really good. It was really good.
It was really interesting how they tied the U.S. history in with the Canadian history and the British history, especially during the Revolutionary War of the U.S.
Yes.
So anyhow, like I said, definitely plan to add this to your list. Bye. Well, good morning. Today is a short trail. It's called Cove. It's just south of Peggy's Cove, or further down around the road of Peggy's Cove. It's supposed to be pretty easy, about 1.5 miles, not a whole lot of elevation change. But we thought we'd get out first thing in the morning and go do a hike.
Yes.
Let's go.
Let's go.
So we are a little over halfway done with this hike, but there was a handwritten sign at the beginning of the trail that said the basement foundation on this trail was built for a hotel back in 1958 that was never completed. There's a piece of plywood someone painted on it with handwriting. Nothing official, but some cool graffiti on there. But that was poured back in 58 for a hotel. And you can imagine the view that hotel would have had it been completed. The climb is starting to get a little rough. Having to climb up these big rocks and boulders. What an awesome view. There is a point on the maps called Balance Rock, which looks like that guy right there. But just an absolutely awesome view. And with that said, we are going to wrap it up. Switch that around so we have the view in the background. And we've been here for a week now. We camped down at Peggy's Cove area, just north of Peggy's Cove, about 40 minutes from Halifax. We've had a great time. I love the cathedral. That was awesome. Some of the drives we did, Lunenburg was awesome. It's actually been very good here. A week was probably a little bit much. I would also say Peggy's Cove is probably a day, maybe a 2-day thing at the most. You may want to camp closer to the freeway so you can get around to the other side of the peninsula. We didn't know, so we spent the whole week in one spot and had to do some really long drives, but it was worth it.
Yes.
I really enjoyed the stay down here in the Peggy's Cove area in Nova Scotia, and tomorrow morning we're going to pack up and we're going up towards North Sydney, the Baddock area, something like that, however it's pronounced.
Cabot Trail Loop.
The Cabot Trail Loop, and we're going to spend a week there. Still in Nova Scotia, so we got a total of 2 weeks in Nova Scotia. So definitely enjoyed the Peggy's Cove area, no question about it. Ange, highlights?
Yes, highlights was definitely Peggy's Cove and going to the lighthouse, doing the Amos Pewter. Also go to Lunenburg was probably my favorite little harbor town because it's the UNESCO World Heritage Site, so it is in really nice shape as far as the buildings and the restorations, and the food is good, and it's just beautiful. So I guess Lunenburg would be my highlight. That was pretty cool, and the lighthouse here at Peggy's Cove.
And mine was probably the Citadel with all the history we learned there.
Oh yes, and the Citadel. That was pretty amazing. We spent the whole day there.
Yeah, we spent one whole day in the Citadel.
Yes, we did.
Morning to nighttime. So you can spend a whole day just in the Citadel. So.
Yes.
I don't know if I mentioned it before, but definitely if you're going to spend a lot of time here, spend the $75 a person and buy the National Parks card for a year. We've already gotten our money's worth, and we still have a month to stay here in Southeast Canada. So,
Yes.
other than that, tomorrow's moving day. We'll head up to the north side of Nova Scotia. We'll see y'all then.
Let's go.